What's up, guys? So we got another one to add to the museum, one that I'm actually pretty happy to have. So this is an Apple IIe from 1982. Picked it up on eBay for a little bit higher than pre-pandemic prices, but nowhere near what most people have decided that they think they're worth now. Nowhere near the $650 to $1,000 that I see people wanting for these on the regular. Now, there are a couple reasons why it was cheap. Number one, obviously, is the color. I will at some point take some spray and do a good cleaning on it. And I've never retrobrited. I don't know if I'm going to mess with it or not, because I'm just going to put it on display, but we'll see. So, history. The first computer I ever used in 1991 at the library was a IIe. In fact, it was several years before I even realized that it was called a IIe, because I always thought that the E at the end was just stylization at the end of the 2. But the 3 systems that I've had in my lifetime have all had the Disk 2s. I've never used one of the ones that had the other disk interfaces. And so I'm very happy to have this for a very reasonable price. There are 3 reasons why I got this as cheap as I did. Number one, it was an auction, and auctions typically sell 10 to 20% higher than pre-pandemic prices pretty consistently. The second is because the tab key is missing and the switch is broken. So I will get to learn how to solder a new key switch at some point, but that will also probably be a long time because I don't have the proper soldering equipment. Just a 15-watt iron, it's not powerful enough, and I don't have anything to remove solder, so I don't expect it to go too well. And then the other reason is that it listed it as a damaged monitor, but had pictures of the monitor working. So a little bit of melting up here in the corner, where it'll be on display. It won't even be noticeable, so I'm really not worried about it. So the first thing I'm going to do before I power it up, it was showing working in the listing. First thing I'm going to do is pop the cover off and check inside, make sure everything is seated, make sure none of the chips popped loose during transit. I did pay $77 shipping, however it was priority 3-day, and it was very well packed, and I think that was completely worth it. So let's get you up in the stand, get the disk drives moved, and open this bad boy up. Alright, that actually looks really clean inside. Now, listing said that Disk 2 did not have a light on, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. The guy didn't know that much more about him than I do, and so could be loose. Don't know. Could be a bad cable. This Apple kind of just left these cables, loose like that. An aux connector. I don't know what this is for. It says slotware, and it's not a printer connector. Probably, it looks like a SCSI connector of some kind. I'm going to actually disconnect it on the inside, because I really don't want that cable to get damaged. So, but that's the card. Slotware by Microtech, 1983. I would guess it's some kind of SCSI interface card, but I don't know. Right now it's going to be unplugged unless the computer complains. Okay. Yeah, just touching them willy-nilly with my bare hands. Oh, horrors. But everything in here looks all tight. I love how they labeled everything. That's the video ROM, that's the MMU, the IOU. There's the 6502B, that's our processor. But chips all look solid. Nothing came loose in shipping, so I'm really happy with how clean that is inside. At some point we'll have to figure out how to get the keyboard out. But, okay. Let's button it up and plug it in. Alright, that is how an Apple II should look, isn't it? Monitor on. He's right, nothing out of disk 2. Of course, again, disk 2 may not even be supposed to open, but there we go. Does what it showed in the picture. I don't have any software for this right now. My disk 2 did show some power, so that probably is not a dead drive. It probably is just, whoops, because it's not needed. Let me go see if the ProDOS kit that I have has any disks in it. Alright, well I found ProDOS based utilities. We'll put that in and see if anything happens. Cool. That's really awesome because it tells me that it does actually work. No. DOS to ProDOS conversion display. Okay. It just didn't keep it up long enough for me to do anything with. No date, no time. It's not gonna hold. Let's see. 08220. Once it in numeric? No. 08 worked. D. So pressing 2 sends it backwards. I'm not really sure what it wants. D and C sends it backwards. So I'm not really sure what it wants. Reset. No. I don't know what it wants for that entry. It's like anything I try to type. D. No. I don't know why it wants a 3-day month. Okay. And it doesn't give me any other options, so reboot. Apparently I didn't leave it off one. So anyway, back to the story. First computer I used in 1991 was a IIe. Around 1997, we had one of those. If only I would have moments when one of the local high schools filled 7 dumpsters with their Apple IIs, and I was able. One of our neighbors was a high-ranking teacher at the school and asked if we wanted one, and we got a really nice, complete IIe with monitors and drives, some software, image writer 2, and I wish that I would have tried, even though my parents would never have done it, to back a box truck up and unload all 7 of those dumpsters, because today that would probably have been $50,000 worth of very, very collectible computers. At the time, it was worthless junk. Nobody wanted them. So I played with that for a few months until I got bored with it, and then we donated it to one of the local women's shelters for it to be used to teach them how to type and use a computer. And now, years later, these things are impossible to find for under $500 to $600 a piece, and auctions can vary widely. So I've only got about 200 into this, and I'm very happy with it. Now I could have gotten one that was nicer, in better shape, but I would have paid 3 times as much at least, and for the most part it's going to be safely on display. I did order some software, a word processor and a database software for it to kind of play with, kind of keeping an eye on games. Now that I know it does work and the disk drive does work, then I'll kind of look at some games, probably pick up an Oregon Trail. The game that I used to play at the library, all I remember is it was a dinosaur game, and I remember being heartbroken when it quit working. But the thing is, I don't remember gameplay, I don't remember anything else. And that's why I've never really tried to look for it or tried to find it, because I wouldn't even really know what it was if I did find it. Whereas games like The Lost Mind of Dr. Brain, Super Solvers, Gizmos, and Gadgets, of course, I have those because I remember the gameplay of those. That was what was memorable. So, let's see here. Let's get in on the screen a little bit. We're in basic, so I just want to see what keyboard keys work. And actually, it looks like that's actually really nice. So it looks like the keyboard is actually working. So that's really nice. I just have to figure out something with that tab key, which I can replace the key switch. I just have to be able to unsolder it in order to do it, and that's what's going to be hard. Why won't it pause there? I want to see what this is. I want to see what that other card is. Okay, now I'm going to call that good for this video. So we'll find a place to store it until I get the display case built. I think I know what I'm going to do. I wish I could get something more than super thin acrylic sheets for the front, but that's all that I can find. So you got to work with what you have to work with. So thank you for watching. This is super cool. I'm super excited to have this. Really, really excited to finally have an Apple II in the collection. I am not a big Apple guy, but there are a couple early Macs that I want to get that we played at the library. So one that I have never even seen for sale, but I have a picture of me playing on it, so I know it does exist. But it was one of the all-in-one classics, but instead of a floppy drive on the right side, it was a CD drive on the right side. And I can remember playing on it. I have a picture of me playing on it, but I have never found one for sale. All of the ones that I have found for sale have a floppy drive on the right, or a floppy on the right and a CD on the left, and these did not have that. So maybe one day I will see one for sale, but it'd be my luck that the library had something that was ridiculously rare and is worth a stupid ton of money. So at this point, I'd be just as happy to have one of the card catalog terminals from back in the day. But I've looked them up a few times after watching the LGR retrospective on those old card catalogs, and you just can't find them. And if you do find them, they're destroyed or ridiculously expensive. So thank you for watching. Keep collecting. We'll see you next time.